So today my talk is on the use of 3D simulation and modeling for surgical evaluation of brachial plexus tumors. So just now we had a talk on 3D printing. I just invite all of you to just put aside the thought of 3D technology in terms of just 3D printing, because this actually expands on the use of 3D technology. So brachial plexus nerve tumors make up about 1/3 of all the schwannomas in the upper limb, and is often located in the supraclavicular plexus. And it poses challenges in both diagnosis and surgery, as it is difficult to see, can be misdiagnosed. The tumor extent and which nerve units are involved are also difficult to determine just by examination. The location is often indistinct and deep, and is surrounded by multiple critical structures. The MRI is also not easy to interpret, and the surgical approach can be complex. So what we hypothesized was that this complex anatomy around the brachial plexus would be much better appreciated when the two-dimensional MRI images are converted into a 3D image. Hence, we set out to study how the concept of 3D modeling can be utilized in the surgical setting for brachial plexus surgery. So here is an overview on the main steps on how a 3D format is created. Firstly is a close collaboration with the radiologists and the 3D engineers to discuss the surgical approaches and the needs of the surgery. And then from there, we can plan the imaging sequences and the cuts that we need. Then next will be segmentation of the images, where the tumor and the surrounding structures are identified and they are isolated and color-coded. And the segmented images are then exported out as a file, and then lastly converted into the appropriate 3D format that we want to employ. So in this first example, a patient presents with a symptomatic right axillary lump, and the MRI shows a large mass at the distal end of the brachial plexus at the cord to the terminal branch region. So the MRI DICOM images are imported into segmentation software, and different structures are mapped and color-coded by our engineers, and after segmentation, the reconstituted image is put together in the various 3D formats. The first format that I want to introduce is the 3D image, which is saved on a PDF format file. This is very useful for visualization of the anatomy. It actually can deconstruct and explore each separate tissue layer, and it studies the relationship of the tumor with its surrounding structures. And the best part of this, you can study this in the comfort of your own time and location. This exported file can be further converted into hologram images and paired with a hologram or augmented reality headset viewer. So in this case, I use the HoloLens. Separate files with the various layers can be saved and studied. The hologram also aids in the surgical rehearsals, as the images can be pinned in space and each surgical step can be assessed from all angles. During the surgery, using the HoloLens, the hologram is appropriately sized and projected onto the patients. And with this, you can use it for preoperative markings, incision planning, and tumor localization. So with hologram imaging, it can accurately localize the tumor during surgery. This next patient, as we can see, has a retroclavicular neurogenic tumor that involves the trunks, divisions, and cords. Again, the PDF 3D image forms the basic construct for examining this anatomy. For further physical examination of the anatomy, we render the 3D image, export it as the STL file, and we print out the physical 3D model. We print each component in the separate tissue layers, and we put them together with struts and magnets. And during surgery, the physical print also gives a perspective on the anatomical relations. For cases involving more complicated exposures, like in this patient who needed the clavicular osteotomy for access, we scan the implant in an image and place the plexus image to pre-plan the plate size, position, and osteotomy locations. We then practice this entire surgery on a printed out model for the approach, including the osteotomy, use of 3D printed jigs, and we can pre-bend and position the actual implants. In this last example, I have another patient with a neurogenic tumor that arises from the T1 and the lower trunk. with the distal end of the tumor demonstrating retroclavicular extension. Again, the relationships are better appreciated with the 3D reconstruction, and the model of just the tumor and the clavicle were printed out. We used it to plan the approach and position of the osteotomy and to pre-bend this actual implant that will be used. So in summary, this is the list of 3D formats, not just printing, but we can also have it in a PDF file to study the anatomy, use it together with augmented reality and hologram images for better simulation, out planning, and also as an education tool for the rest of the surgical team. And with the 3D printed physical model, we use it for implant shaping, for pre-bending the plate. And this also helps with patient education when we bring it to the clinic and we discuss the steps with the patient. So with this, we assess the modalities on the usefulness, the accuracy, and the reproducibility in the perioperative use in the areas of anatomical evaluation, operative planning, surgical rehearsals, and education. And due to time constraints, I'll just give you my perspective on this. So we concluded that the 3D simulation models are actually very relevant, and the most useful function was in the pre-operative setting for planning, education, and counseling. The actual intraoperative function still remains limited, and the main reason being we're not able to wear the augmented reality headsets while using loops or the microscope at the same time. And there is also a preoperative lag time for preoperative planning with the engineers, and it increases with the complexity of each case. So it can range from a fast case from 1 week to about 2 months for entire planning. And as with all 3D modalities, with increasing experience of the surgeon, it was also related to a decreasing need and usefulness for actual printed out physical model. So with this, I conclude my talk.